I'm 31 right now, and in 31 years of looking for animals and seeking out experiences like the one I'm going to describe, this probably takes the cake. At the time, I was in a country called Nepal over in Asia, just north of India. And I was with a friend and basically trying to see as much wildlife as possible: birds, mammals, reptiles, amphibians. But there was one species that I kind of dreamed of seeing. I've actually dreamed of seeing it since I was, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old, when I was just as obsessed with animals as I am now. And when we got to Nepal, I knew that we were in the area. I knew that this was a species that we could see because we would be within an hour or two of where it was seen. But everyone I had talked to said chances were super low. I had actually messaged a researcher who worked on this species before leaving the United States, and he basically said, "Yeah, you're not going to see that." And so, if you haven't figured it out by now, the species that we're going to talk about um, is a really critically endangered species called the Ganges River Dolphin. This is a species of freshwater dolphin that is only found in a few rivers in India and Nepal. We decided to go to a homestay. So we stayed basically at a house in rural western Nepal, not a place a lot of people go. And what was cool is we were staying near this river. It was just a tiny little river. And when we were there in December, it was very dry. It was very low. Not this river that's in the picture, but a river like it. But what we learned is that during times of flooding in the spring and summer, dolphins will actually come from the river in this photo and swim up this backwater, up into these little creeks to feed on fish. So this dolphin, the reason I'm so interested in them: one, they are one of the rarest animals on Earth. They're extremely rare due to habitat loss from dams, from overfishing, which reduces their food supply, from direct killing, hunting, which is really sad. But basically, the situation they're in is they live in rivers like what's in this picture in Nepal, in India. And these rivers have dams periodically. So basically, these dams separate one population from another. And within those dams, between the dams, they face all these other threats. And so the population is just getting whittled down to an unsustainable level. In this particular stretch of river, I was told there would be between 6 and 10 individual dolphins left at the time. This was back in 2017. And again, I was told that the chances of seeing this species were nil, or very, very low, if nothing else. But this is a species with a really long beak, these really sharp teeth, very small eyes, almost don't even function. And it uses echolocation in these murky waters to find its prey. And so we had a guy who said, well, maybe I can take you to a river where I've seen dolphins in the past, and maybe we have a shot. It's not a guarantee. It's a big river. The area between the dams is big, but maybe we have a shot. And we were like, let's do it. It's a whole day. It was a long drive. We were like, let's do it. Let's give it a shot. So we drove all the way out and we crossed that bridge you see in the background of this picture and drove out to this river. And when I first saw it, I was like, this is where they are or could be. I mean, look at it. It's barren. A lot of the vegetation's been cleared. It's not looking good. A lot of pollution, very clearly. But to make a long story short, we went out with this guy. I should mention the guy a few months previously had been attacked and nearly killed by a tiger. He had had his stomach literally ripped open by a tiger that had pinned him against a tree. So there's that. But this guy took us out, and we decided to start looking for the dolphins. So we walked along this riverbank. I'm going to change the photos here. Oops, wrong. And you can see, I mean, it's just barren. There was just a big, big old river. This is called the Karnali River. And we're walking along and we're looking out, and I'm like, oh my God, are we going to see a dolphin or what's going to happen? Didn't see anything. We're walking along the river, didn't see anything. Weren't really sure what to expect. I mean, we had driven, I think, like 3 hours by bumpy dirt road to this particular spot. But we're looking out there, and across the water, But we're looking out at the water and we're looking at a view just like this. We go down by the water and all of a sudden there's a little break in the water, this little dark shape. And I knew what it was. And I just, um, it's crazy. I'm like getting emotional thinking about it. It was a Ganges River Dolphin. It broke the surface and came up, and you can see its whole head and its back, and it was truly unbelievable. Yeah, I didn't anticipate it being this hard to talk about, but it was really a uh, a special thing to see. You were seeing something that was slipping away. You're seeing something that, you know, as a biologist, I know uh, 10, 15 years from the time I was seeing this, the sight would probably be impossible. Let's not forget that the Yangtze River Dolphin in China went extinct in 2006, a very, very similar species in very, very similar habitats facing very, very similar threats, and it went completely extinct. It was actually China's national animal. A lot of people think it was the panda. So it's not unrealistic to think that this species could disappear. And there I was on the riverbank. What was happening is that a small side channel was feeding into the main river, and it was really shallow where that happened. And this dolphin was kind of posted up where that occurred because the fish were gathering there. It was really oxygenated, and fish were gathering. And so this dolphin was just going in and out, feeding on the fish. And it was just spectacular. We probably watched it for 2.5 hours, maybe a little bit less, but I could have watched it forever. Our guide was tapping rocks together, and what that does is it sends an echolocation signal out into the water that this dolphin is picking up and responding to. So it would stick its head up above the water to kind of see what was going on. And that's what happened. So you saw it kind of come up and come back down. I don't really know what else to say about it other than it was just it's an experience that I'll probably never have again and that I'll definitely never forget. I will say this too, kind of interesting thing. Where we stayed at this homestay, they offer tours to see tigers and rhinos and all these things that we saw and experienced. But they had never offered a tour to see this dolphin before. No one had ever asked. No one even knew it was a thing. And so we did this tour to see the dolphin. And I've since learned that most groups that go to this particular place go to see the dolphin. And so I feel really good about that because people are now spending money to experience and interact with this really endangered animal. And I hope sending a message to the local community that, hey, this animal really matters. We should probably think about ways to stop the decline of this amazing creature that lives nowhere else in the world but these few rivers. They're so intelligent. They're so cool. I mean, this is a freshwater river dolphin. It's just as cool as it gets. And so last I heard, the species was continuing to decline across its range, sadly. But I do think that more and more people are plugging into this. There's the Yangtze River Dolphin that went extinct. The vaquita porpoise is down to, I believe, 6 individuals in the Gulf of California. Dolphins are disappearing a lot. A lot of species are in serious trouble. And so I just hope that, maybe I conveyed a little bit about how important the species is, and hopefully you're motivated to learn more about it, maybe even see it yourself. Certainly what I hope is that you'll tell people about this species so that more people can appreciate it, which I think leads to care, which I think leads to conservation. So please do what you can to support the Ganges River Dolphin and its conservation. There's a lot of organizations doing great work on it. And if you haven't already, please check us out, us being Wild Wander, on YouTube and Facebook. Like us, subscribe, because we tell a lot of conservation stories like this one. And we love your support, and your support helps us to do what we do and get these stories out there. So we appreciate it. Thanks for listening to me talk about, such a crazy experience I had for so long. And thanks for caring. Thanks for caring about our species and the habitats that they call home. So with that, good night. Thank you. And I will see you soon.